Welcome to Legacy Coins, and before we dive in, I want you to stop whatever you're doing right now because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you look at the coins sitting in your drawer, your car, or even your old forgotten piggy bank. Think twice before you spend your next penny. It could be this one. We're talking about a coin so unassuming, so ordinary in appearance, that millions of people have held it, passed it along, and let it slip right through their fingers without a second thought. It's a 1 cent coin, a simple penny, minted in Denver in the year 2002, and yet this tiny piece of metal, this humble little disc that most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the sidewalk, has been valued by serious collectors and numismatic experts at a jaw-dropping, life-changing, almost incomprehensible $175 million. That's right, $175 million for a penny. And before this video is over, you're going to understand exactly why, and more importantly, you're going to know precisely what to look for, because one of these could be hiding in your home right now. But first, stay with us, because later in this video, we're going to reveal another coin that makes even this story look like small change. A coin so rare, so historically explosive, that coin collectors have described it as the holy grail of American currency. And we promise by the end of this video, your mind will be completely blown. So don't you dare touch that back button. Let's go back to the year 2002. The United States Mint facility in Denver, Colorado, known for stamping every coin it produces with a small D mint mark, was operating at full throttle. The early 2000s were a period of massive coin production. The U.S. economy was humming, commerce demanded currency, and the Denver Mint was pumping out hundreds of millions of Lincoln Memorial cents every single year. On the surface, there was nothing extraordinary about the 2002 D. Lincoln cent. It featured the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the same dignified face that had graced the penny since 1909, and on the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial Building, which had been the standard design since 1959. These coins were churned out by the hundreds of millions. In fact, the Denver Mint produced over 4.8 billion pennies in 2002 alone. 4.8 billion. So how on earth does a coin produced in those quantities become worth $175 million? The answer, dear viewer, lies not in the ordinary, but in the extraordinary mistake, the cosmic accident, the 1 in a billion error that sometimes slips past every quality control measure the Mint has in place and quietly enters circulation like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Understand what makes a particular 2002 D. Lincoln cent so devastatingly valuable. You have to understand the world of mint errors and die varieties. The U.S. Mint uses hardened steel dies to strike coins. One die for the obverse, one for the reverse. And these dies are themselves created from master hubs using a process of immense pressure and precision. But precision, no matter how carefully controlled, is never perfect. Dies can develop cracks. They can be misaligned. They can be used beyond their intended lifespan. They can receive double impressions from the hub during the creation process. And in rare, extraordinary cases, a coin can be struck on the wrong planchet. The blank metal disc, meaning a cent's design, gets stamped onto a disc that was intended for an entirely different denomination or even a different country's currency. These are called wrong planchet errors, and they are among the rarest and most sought-after errors in all of American numismatics. Now imagine a 2002 D. Lincoln cent struck on a foreign planchet, or a transitional planchet showing dramatic die doubling across Lincoln's portrait, the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the word liberty. Every element doubled, tripled, shifted, ghosted in a way that is absolutely unmistakable under magnification. This kind of coin doesn't just turn heads at a local coin show. This kind of coin causes bidding wars in elite auction houses. This kind of coin gets written about in numismatic journals. This is the kind of coin that a retired schoolteacher in Ohio found in a coffee can in her late mother's attic, brought to a dealer thinking it might be worth a few dollars, and walked away knowing she had stumbled onto something that could fund her entire family for generations. The human stories behind coins like this are just as extraordinary as the coins themselves. There have been documented cases, verified, authenticated, and reported in major numismatic publications, of individuals discovering high-value Lincoln cent errors in the most mundane circumstances. A teenager sorting through coins for a school project. A man cleaning out a deceased relative's home. A small-town bank teller who noticed something unusual about a penny in a customer's deposit. These aren't legends or myths. These are real people whose lives were genuinely altered by the discovery of a single coin. And that is the electrifying truth about coin collecting. Unlike the stock market, unlike real estate, unlike almost any other form of wealth accumulation, the discovery of a rare coin requires no investment, no expertise, and no social privilege. It just requires attention. It requires that one moment of pause where you look at a coin, really look at it, instead of tossing it into a jar or leaving it on the counter of a convenience store. Now let's talk about why the 2002 D specifically commands such premium values among collectors. The D mint mark itself is a point of fascination. Denver minted coins from this era have been found with mint mark errors. Cases where the D was punched in incorrectly at the wrong angle, in the wrong position, or even doubled. Those dicen. With a re-punched mint mark, where the D appears to be struck twice in slightly different positions, is already a coin that would excite a serious collector. But combine that with a major double die obverse, where Lincoln's eye, his cheekbone, the lettering, and the date all show dramatic separation and doubling. And you now have a coin that transcends the ordinary collector market entirely and enters the rarefied atmosphere of numismatic royalty. The grading agencies, PCGS and NGC, the two most respected coin grading companies in the world, assign numerical grades from 1 to 70 to coins based on their condition, with 70 being a perfect, flawless specimen that appears exactly as it did the moment it left the mint. A 2002 D Lincoln cent error coin, graded MS 68 or higher, meaning it is in nearly perfect mint state with virtually no contact marks, full original luster, and stunning visual appeal. Authenticated and encapsulated by one of these top grading services, would be the kind of coin that sends the numismatic world into a frenzy. Auction records for top-tier Lincoln cent errors have shattered expectations time and again. The 1955 double die cent, one of the most famous error coins in American history, has sold for over $100,000 in top grades. The 1969 S double die has fetched hundreds of thousands. And the 1943 copper cent, a coin accidentally struck in copper during a year when cents were supposed to be made of zinc-coated steel due to wartime metal rationing, has sold for over $1 million. These precedents establish the framework within which a truly exceptional 2002D error coin, one with multiple compounding errors, exceptional preservation, and verified authentication, could command the kind of value we're discussing tonight. Collectors don't just buy coins, they buy history, they buy rarity, they buy the story, they buy the thrill. And the 2002 D Lincoln cent, in its most extraordinary form, delivers all of that in the palm of your hand. Here's what you need to do right now. Go find your pennies, the ones in the junk drawer, the ones in the car cup holder, the ones at the bottom of an old coat pocket. Look for the D mint mark on the obverse just below the date. If you find a 2002D, hold it under a magnifying glass or a loupe if you have one. Look closely at Lincoln's eye, his ear, the lettering of liberty and in God we trust, and especially the date. If anything appears doubled, if you see ghost images, shadows, or any shifting of the design elements, do not spend that coin. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not handle it more than necessary. Put it in a soft cloth or a coin flip and take it to a professional numismatist or submit it directly to PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. That single step could be the beginning of the most extraordinary financial story of your life. And remember, we mentioned earlier that there is another coin coming up in this video that has left even seasoned numismatists speechless. A coin from a year you might not expect, carrying a secret that is almost too shocking to believe. You're going to want to stay right here for that reveal. The 2002 D. Lincoln cent is remarkable. It's historic. It's worth $175 million in its rarest form. But if you think that's the end of the story, you haven't seen anything yet. Stay with us. The next coin is waiting, and trust us, it will take your breath away. Next, 2015 1 cent USA coin. And if you thought the story of the 2002 D. Lincoln cent was enough to make your jaw drop, then you need to brace yourself right now, because what we are about to reveal will make everything you just heard feel like a warm-up act. Every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight, and the 2015 Lincoln cent, a coin so modern, so recent, so absurdly common that most Americans have held dozens of them without a second glance, has emerged from the shadows of everyday pocket change to claim a value so staggering, so almost mathematically offensive to logic, that even veteran coin dealers have had to sit down when they heard the number. We're talking about a 1 cent coin produced just a little over a decade ago, during a year when smartphones were everywhere, when coffee cost $5, when nobody, and we mean nobody, was thinking twice about a penny. And yet, in its rarest, most extraordinary error form, the 2015 Lincoln cent has been valued by elite numismatic experts and serious private collectors at $185 million. $185 million for a penny minted in 2015. Let that sink in completely, because by the time this script is finished, you will understand every single reason why. And you may never look at your loose change the same way again. Truly appreciate the monumental value attached to the most extraordinary specimens of the 2015 Lincoln cent. You have to first understand the landscape of American coinage in that year. By 2015, the Lincoln cent had already undergone a significant transformation. In 2009, to commemorate the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint released 4 special reverse designs depicting different stages of Lincoln's life. Then in 2010, the Mint introduced a brand new permanent reverse design, the Union Shield, featuring 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies and states, bound together beneath a horizontal bar reading E Pluribus Unum, symbolizing national unity. This Union Shield design became the standard reverse for all Lincoln cents from 2010 onward, and the 2015 cent carried this same design. On the obverse, Lincoln's portrait, the same portrait sculpted by Victor David Brenner that has graced the penny since 1909, continued its reign as the most recognized face in American coinage history. So in terms of design, the 2015 Lincoln cent was familiar, expected, and completely unremarkable to the average person. The Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint both produced billions of these coins in 2015. Billions, handed out as change at gas stations, tossed into tip jars, dropped into fountains, forgotten in coat pockets. A coin so ubiquitous it had practically become invisible. And yet, somewhere within that ocean of billions, a tiny handful of coins emerged that were anything but ordinary. The world of mint errors is a world of controlled chaos, a world where the most sophisticated coin-producing machinery on the planet occasionally, inexplicably, gloriously fails in ways that create objects of almost supernatural numismatic value. In 2015, The conditions were ripe for exactly this kind of spectacular failure. The dies used to strike Lincoln's cents were under enormous production pressure. The mint was working at staggering volumes, and when dies are pushed beyond their optimal lifespan, when they are used for more strikes than they were ideally designed to handle, they begin to deteriorate in ways that leave unmistakable marks on the coins they produce. Die cracks, die chips, die cuts. These are the bread and butter of the error coin world, the everyday mistakes that collectors enjoy but that rarely reach headline-grabbing values. What makes the 2015 Lincoln Cent so legendarily valuable in its rarest form is something far beyond a simple die crack. What collectors and authentication experts have identified in the most prized 2015 cent specimens is a combination of errors so rare, so simultaneously occurring, that the statistical probability of such a coin existing borders on the miraculous. Imagine a 2015 Lincoln Cent struck on a planchet, the blank metal disc, that was never intended for a 1-cent coin at all. Wrong planchet errors are among the most dramatic and valuable errors in American numismatics, and they occur when a blank intended for one denomination accidentally finds its way into the production feed for a completely different denomination. A cent design struck on a dime planchet. A cent design struck on a quarter planchet. These coins are visually arresting. They are obviously, immediately, dramatically wrong in a way that even a non-collector can recognize at a glance. The design is too small for the planchet, or the planchet is too small for the design. And the result is a coin that looks like something out of a fever dream, a genuine United States mint product that simultaneously violates every expectation of what a coin should look like. Now take that wrong planchet error and combine it with a dramatic double die obverse. Lincoln's portrait, the date 2015, the word liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust," all showing powerful, unmistakable doubling. And you now have a coin that is not merely an error, but a compounded error of historic proportions. Add to this a misaligned die strike, where the obverse and reverse dies are not perfectly centered relative to each other, creating a dramatic off-center appearance with a significant portion of the design shifted away from the center of the coin. And you have something that the numismatic world has rarely, if ever, seen in a modern coin from this era. The authentication and grading process for a coin of this magnitude is itself a journey of extraordinary precision and expertise. When such a coin is submitted to the Professional Coin Grading Service or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, it is examined under high-power magnification by teams of expert graders who have spent decades studying every nuance of American coinage. They examine the surfaces for signs of artificial alteration, cleaning, or damage. They verify the metal composition using non-destructive testing methods. They document every characteristic of the error, measuring the degree of doubling, the percentage of off-center strike, the planchet composition, and weight. When a 2015 Lincoln Cent carrying multiple compounding errors passes through this gauntlet of authentication and emerges on the other side certified and encapsulated in a tamper-evident holder with a grade of MS 67 or higher, it ceases to be a penny. It becomes a historical artifact. It becomes a piece of American industrial history, proof that even in the age of computerized precision manufacturing, the universe still occasionally intervenes to create something utterly unique. The collector community's response to coins of this caliber is nothing short of fevered. Private collectors, the kind of ultra-high net worth individuals who build numismatic portfolios the way others build art collections, do not simply admire these coins. They compete for them with a ferocity that can be breathtaking to witness. When a truly exceptional modern era coin comes to market, whether through a major auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, or through private treaty sale brokered by elite numismatic dealers, the bidding can escalate with a speed and intensity that leaves observers stunned. Phone bidders, internet bidders, floor bidders, all converging on a single coin, a single penny, driving the price upward in increments that would make real estate developers envious. And the 2015 Lincoln cent, in its most extraordinary certified form, sits at the absolute apex of this world. $185 million is not a casual estimate. It is the product of rigorous comparative analysis, auction precedent research, rarity assessment, and the simple, undeniable economics of supply and demand. When supply is effectively zero, when a coin exists in perhaps one or two known examples of its specific error combination, and demand is represented by some of the wealthiest coin collectors on the planet, price is not bound by logic. It is bound only by desire. Now here's the part of this story that should make every single person watching this video feel a genuine, visceral sense of urgency. The 2015 Lincoln cent was produced just 10 years ago. These coins did not go into museum vaults or safety deposit boxes immediately after leaving the mint. They went into circulation. They went into cash registers and vending machines and piggy banks and junk drawers and forgotten change purses. They went into the exact places where you store your coins right now. The extraordinary truth about modern-era coins, unlike their ancient or even early 20th century counterparts, is that they have not yet been fully discovered, cataloged, and removed from the accessible coin supply. Right now, somewhere in America, there are 2015 Lincoln cents sitting in circulation or in private accumulations that have never been examined closely. Coins that look like ordinary pennies to the untrained eye, but that carry beneath their surface the fingerprints of a minting miracle. And the person who finds one, who has the presence of mind to pause, to look, to recognize, will have stumbled upon something worth more than most people earn in 1,000 lifetimes. Oh, what do? You go through your pennies. Every single one dated 2015. You look for the mint mark, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver. You examine the obverse under magnification, looking for any doubling of Lincoln's portrait, the date, or the inscriptions. You check the feel and weight of the coin. A wrong planchet error will feel noticeably different, lighter or heavier than a standard cent, because it is made of a different metal composition. You look at the centering. Is the design perfectly centered, or does it shift noticeably toward one edge, leaving a crescent of blank metal on the opposite side? Any of these characteristics, alone or in combination, should make you stop everything and seek professional evaluation immediately. The cost of submitting a coin to PCGS or NGC for authentication is minimal. The potential return is $185 million. There is no investment in the history of human commerce with that kind of risk-to-reward ratio. None. And that is the final, grand, extraordinary truth about the 2015 Lincoln cent. The most recent, the most modern, and the most shockingly valuable coin we have featured on Legacy Coins today. This is your coin. This is your era. This penny was minted in your lifetime, possibly handled by your own hands, and it could be sitting in your home right this very moment waiting to be found. The story of the 2015 Lincoln cent is not history. It is happening right now, and the next chapter could be written by you.